My name is Marvin. I'm 29 years of age. I'm with Lisa GmbH in Cologne, and I got a girlfriend. So the other day, I went to the internet looking for Christmas gifts. Looking for watches. Specifically those with dark wristbands, but nothing here. So I looked up shoes. Ah, I see. Now it works. I needed running shoes for my girlfriend. And it came across that there's another color filter. But then I had to head to work. So let me just check Google. And I need to get to work from Cologne. And I looked at the schedule, and I pretty much know the directions for the car and the schedule for the public transport shows, well, a thing there. And I thought, how do they do this? How do they do what? At Amazon, they have a color filter with a different heading and different functionality. And at Google Maps, they have different directions, each for a movement type. And they are different from each other. And they are in some way different that you can't abstract this. And I thought, how do they do this? These same but different components that have different functionality within themselves and differ from each other. So I set up a quick Angular application. And I got heavily inspired by an unnamed app. And I searched for directions from one city to another. And there you have it. Different moving types, different cards, in this case, Angular material cards, even with a different functionality within themselves. So I made it, and I was happy. But when you look at my code, you see this. Not good. Ifs and else's, or switches in this case. And if you imagine your Google Maps, you got plenty of movement types, not just 4, but maybe 15 or so. And you see your template, it gets pretty crowded. So that can't be the top solution. What do we do? I know Angular material pretty well. They get something that is called portals. You can render different things into portals, and it's quite dynamic. And chances are you use them. If you use a dialog in Angular material, you use a portal. You don't know it, but you use it. Because you use dialogs for pretty different components in the entire internet. You see them all the day. So I thought, do I need to take dialogues, or can I do it pretty more in place? Turns out, yes, the portal is the way to go. Now, what is a portal? A portal is exactly what is shown in a place. The portal outlet is the thing that gets replaced by the portal that is rendered into it. So let's jump into the coding a little bit. Where do we start? we want to get rid of this, so just wreck it. It's gone. Now, our application is pretty empty. We need a new component. Let's quickly set it up. We have a new component, and guess what? We just use them. Use it there. Replaced our switch by a new component. Well, now you see nothing works, but the new component. How do we move on? We need a thing that is the component portal. Replace the template default. Sorry. Use it there. I prepared it so we got the portal module from Angular CDK already in our module. No progress so far, but we have a portal outlet. CDK portal outlet, indeed. Just grab it in our component. Yes, it is static. And it's undefined by default. So our 4 components that we have had earlier, we need them. Let's quickly set up an array and call it registrations. Yes, it has a type. Come later. Whoopsie daisy. And our registration consists of 2 properties. The component type, which is the component type. Take the cap component first, and quick little function that replaces ngIf or switch, returning a Boolean. First registration. I'm sorry, that belongs here indeed. And that type is any component type. That comes from CDK portal as well. Match function. Returning true if candidate is, let's say, cap. Thank you. Render it into the outlet. It's pretty simple. Just get the registration you want. We need an input because we are inside the component that is rendered multiple times, but every time it gets rendered, there's an input for our node type, our trip node. Have a look at the trip node. It is typed, has a type, previously switched over. So we take this one, and search our registrations for the one that matches. Pretty darn simple. Fail gracefully if there's no input for the node. Is what that can't be undefined anymore at this point. Now we got a registration. So what do you do with it? Our registration consists of the component type. We take a look at the API or at the example and see this one. First, we got to create a portal, and then we got to attach it to the outlet, wherever it is in this example. I can't find it now, but I know it. We create a portal, and we get our registration and take our component type. Null for view container ref, null for injector for now, and fail again if there is no matching registration. Works so far. Then to our outlet, just grab it and attach the component portal. That's most of the code. Let's have a look at the example. I'm sure it doesn't work. No, it doesn't. Because of cat being the one and only registration, and our example uses 3 different. We got 4 implementations, quickly insert them. Flight component if it is a flight node. Train component if it is a train node. Last but not least, walk component, because walking is healthy, if it is a walk. Look at the example. Done. Whichever error this is. We got no node input. Need to extend our usage of the host. Input the node. And again, example. Doesn't work, but why? This is the point in each and every talk where everything gets wrong. It is there, but not quite there. I know why. So let's have a look at our components that are our node types. Previously in our ng switch, we had control over the inputs that are needed by these components, and the input is node, I think, all the way through those components. And now we don't have control over that. That's a little bit tricky, but still solvable. Because we get a ref as an output for this attachment. And we get an instance. Guess what? This instance, exactly, it is our component that is rendered dynamically. In the first case, it is going to be flight, and we need to give it some input. So we take our instance and say node, because I know the name of it, and give it this node. Quickly take the ref, change detector, detect changes. That's a little bit sloppy. We'll come to it later. Boom, got it. We just shoved away our ng switch and have full control over the dynamically rendered components. Yes, until now it is a static array, not the easiest or prettiest way, but it works. Okay. Now a little bit bonus. We want to get rid of this array because whether we take the template or the component here, having a long list of all these components with their conditions is not exactly the best way to do if you want to decouple your features. And let's say all of these transportation ways have their own feature set. So with a flight, you could have a boarding pass generation. These are features that have nothing to do with each other. Flight boarding pass generation doesn't need to know about cabs, and the other way around, and collecting it all at one place is bad habit. So we will replace it eventually. We just need an injection token. I'm pretty sure if you know it. Let's say it is the node component registrations, or rather registration. And we take this type, quickly reuse it, give it a name. God, I can't see my keyboard now. Node component registration. Let's say our component does not know about these registrations there. We'll delete them further down the road, but for now, we just inject our token. You type. I think now we need an interface. It's clumsy and every time I reuse it. So show it into there, have it there. Whoops. Ooh. Now got it. Registrations. So I think now we can use not this registrations array, which I'm commenting out quickly, but we use the injected registrations. Won't work until now, yes, but coming to it. Yes, of course. What's wrong with that? Cyclic dependency. Just having a file. Throw those in. Import all we need. Thank you very much. And import again. Dot. We need an export. Thank you. Now onto our node types. I've created a module over there, but I think we can create a new module. First one for the cap. Whilst it generates a module, I'll explain why. Because it is clear that we need some provider for our injection token. So let's generate a cap module and provide the token. Node component registration and use value. Copy the value that we had earlier for the cap. Get it down there. I think we don't need that one, and get rid of all component declarations in the app module. Gone. Redeclare here. As you see, we drive further towards a separated feature-based, module-based application. And we try to detach all the things from each other so they don't know each other, and we generate a core application and extendable feature sets that work well together but don't know each other. Got it here, and import the cap module for now at this point. That module. Great. Just do it for the other types. So a little bit of copy and paste here. By now, we have components that are provided in their own modules, which in turn provide these token values. Our flight, here, clear it here. Take it over there. And I think walk is the one I need for the quick demo. So I'll just do it for the walk. and forget to fix some matches. So to the one of you who know the Angular dependency injection tokens, we need an additional property that is called multi, because when you provide a token and inject it into a service or component, you'll get the very first or the very last value that was provided. Don't know it yet, but with multi, we don't just get one of these token values, but all of them as an array. So use multi, have the walk module live in the module for now, and done. That was clear. Just grab those modules for material design. There we go. To eradicate the build errors. Compiled successfully. Let's have a look at it. Pick the first, and wow, that worked instantly. Did I save anything, or did I save? Yes, I saved all of it. Well, I guess it just worked. First try, good result. So now we provide our components that are picked at runtime, not at template time, from a dependency injection token, so that each and every feature that declares a component that shall go into one of these slots, each component module can provide it via the token, and the application doesn't need to know the component at the point where it's needed. It just knows the token and selects it via the registration that is object-oriented, matches itself, and so on. And now we eradicated our switch. We don't have a huge array of registrations anywhere. And with the new Webpack 5, it has module federation. I'm sure you can even eradicate these modular imports for the app module and have it completely independent using a npm package, for example. Last but not least, I think we're through with the implementation, and I want to show you that you don't need to implement all by yourself, these functionalities. That's because I published a package, and I think it was yesterday or the day before, which is documented based on this example that you just saw. And it uses let me show it. It provides you with the so-called portal builder. And we just jump into the node host where we were earlier. Got all of our, I'm sorry. I see. I think we can throw away these changes, discard them. Thank you very much. Now at main, and if the toolbar from Zoom pisses off, it does. Thank you. I can show you how to use this package. The component node host you saw it earlier, where we implemented this registration array. This is just for the demonstration purpose. It has two components. The other two components come from the injection token, so it's a little bit of hybrid for documentation reasons. And you see here, we use the portal builder. Instantiate it there and use it here. Throw in our registrations, pick one by value, provide tokens or values that shall be injected into the component themselves and attach it to the portal. It's a Fluent API, so you can use it in whatever order you want. It's a builder pattern. It's pretty simple, just a wrapper for the CDK portal outlet. But you don't have to re-implement it all the way everywhere you want to provide this set of feature targeting portal outlets. I guess that was all I wanted to say. And yes, thank you for your attention. Thank you for having me. And I'll be glad to hear questions, read questions, whether it be now or later in the chat. See you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks a lot, Marvin. Any questions up until now?
Do I have a chat anywhere? Or in the YouTube?
Yes, I had a question. Does this work with components that are part of lazy loaded modules?
Yes, Angular changed with Ivy. They changed the way components are registered within the bundles. Previously to Ivy, you need to register components that are constructed out of thin air in the entry components property for the modules. That has gone, it's deprecated, and I think Angular will take, Angular packages it into the bundles, or Webpack, rather Webpack. If your component is part of a lazy loaded module and you don't want to have your lazy loaded module bundled into the main application, just take the component out of the lazy loaded module, shove it into a single module that just provides this component, and you're good to go.
Okay, so the component must be part of the core module, the component itself.
Yes, it needs to be registered at some place. That is true. But as I mentioned, Webpack 5 has module federation, and I think this is the right tool for independently rendered libraries, parts of applications that are lazy loaded themselves. So this might be a solution for the problem that we have here, still have here. We need our component anywhere registered into the main app, or the part of the app that needs the component, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
There's also a question in the chat. Did you already try module federation with Webpack 5?
No, I didn't. But as you saw, the package I provided at npm, there's a GitHub repo. And I'd be glad if you tried Webpack 5 in Module Federation and just did a pull request to implement it, maybe, if there's something that needs to be implemented into the package. Have a go.
Awesome. There's one other question. Do you know more use cases of the portal?
Yes. Specifically web shops and calendar applications. These are two use cases I just had at work. In web shops where you need different, let's say, forms to describe your needs for a specific item that you can buy at the shop. All these forms look different. They had different fields, had a different layout, had different functionality. So that we decided to not implement dynamic forms, but rather implement the forms as components themselves, and a portal used the portal outlet to render them. That was one use case. And the other was, what was it exactly? Lost my train of thought. Calendar application. I had colleagues that developed a calendar as a part of a bigger application, and they needed different types of dates, of appointments, with different fields for information, different functionality. And they had the problem that there were, I think, about a dozen or so of different calendar appointment types. And I hinted them towards using the component, the portal outlet. Don't know whether they implemented it yet, but I'm positive they will.
Cool. There's one other question. Can or should portals talk to each other, e.g. share facade service?
Portals talk to each other. Well, the thing with Angular components talking to each other, components themselves shouldn't talk to each other than in and output. You use services instead. If you use the portal outlet, I'm pretty sure services are the right way to go for portal outlet rendered portals to communicate with each other. There's one thing in the GitHub repository that I didn't show. I have a case in our code where it's here, where I set the input data on the instance. That is not the single way to do it. You can, that's shown here, use another injection token just for the data, provided here with the portal builder. Then you can forget about this one, shove it away, just leave it there for demo purposes. But you need to rewrite your component a little bit. The one component that is still the old one takes the node as an input, and I think it is train. No, it isn't. It is flight. That takes the data via an injection token. And that is exactly what they do at Angular Material, where you have the dialog. You get the API mat dialog data. This is the injection token for the mat dialog data. This it's parallel. It's the same thing. You can rewrite your component to not take an input, but rather an injection token. You could technically just keep the input and take the token as a second way, getting data into the component, whatever you like. I think the injection token is cleaner